We hope you like this video. Just subscribe, like, and click the bell to be notified of more content just like this.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Rob McCaffrey, nice to meet you.
You too.
That's perfect.
Where are you?
I'm in Kent. Where are you?
I'm in Austin, Texas for my sins.
I was just saying to Claire before, it's rained for 10 days here. It's just driving me mad.
It's rained non-stop for 10 days.
Pretty much. I mean, to be fair, it's nice today, but I was just boring Claire. We've just come back from the Middle East. I was in Dubai for 10 years, and I was fed up there, kind of thing. But you know that warmth and just that.
Yeah.
I've come back here. You forget those England winters when you're like,
yeah.
Oh God, it's like somebody's put a roof on the sky, kind of thing.
It's also how early it all gets dark. That's the thing that I kind of, it's 4 o'clock and you're picking the kids up and it's already on the turn. It's
we've started now. Anyway, tell me this. So do you split your time then? Are you lucky enough? COVID, obviously, of course. Do you sort of split your time between England and the States?
As much as we can. I mean, partly because of working on Walking Dead and now working on Fear the Walking Dead. It's either 7 months in Atlanta or 7 months in Austin, as it is now. And then the other 5 months tends to be the split between LA and London, depending on what's happening work-wise.
I mean, I'm by definition a sports presenter. I've been on Sky Sports for years now. It was perfect in Dubai because I used to do the football season, and then May the 8th, just go, see ya, when it was roasting up, come straight back. It was always just worked out perfectly. Because once again, an English summer, you can't moan. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit like that to a certain extent in watching the football for us out here, both in LA and kind of a little further on closer to the East Coast. Because of the time difference, I can get up, watch pretty much all of the games and be done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the worst, and then do the rest of the day and hand over some of the time to the family. And I can do that on a Saturday and Sunday, and all is sweet.
I hate to say, I mean, it's great to talk to you, but as a Spurs fan, I'm not a Spurs fan, but I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm getting worried because I think you're good.
I'm having a really difficult time with my team at the moment, and it's a dilemma that I don't know how I'm gonna reconcile myself to it, or how we're gonna solve it. I am not a Mourinho fan.
No,
I am, and even at his best, I don't like the way he plays football. I don't like how much he hands over kind of responsibility for the game to the opposition. And we're now in a situation where we're not dictating the pace of games. We're kind of reacting to the other team's decision making. And sometimes if you've got a City or a Chelsea or a Liverpool, you can't help but do that. But when we're handing them over to teams that we should be handing over responsibility and decision making in the games to teams that we should be dominating, I find that really difficult. But we are doing all right. We are, we have the players that we have, and if they click and if they get to play, then we've seen what they're capable of. We have to keep Harry Kane and Son fit. And we have to, get Lo Celso and Ndombele up and playing and creating. We just need guys creating, and then we'll be there or thereabouts. But it's a tricky one for me.
And I know exactly where you're coming from, Spurs fans as well. I mean, I saw Harry Redknapp just saying, and I think he was the first one. He said, I think Spurs can win the league this year. And he was pilloried. Everybody went, whoa, no. But you know what? You look at the quality of players you've got, the amount of players, even Gareth Bale looks like he's coming to be a little bit fit. I mean, Yeah, it's that Mourinho. Oh, but at the same time, gee whiz, you got a hell of a side.
We do have a hell of a side. I mean, I'm not brave enough to say that we could win it. Well, of course, I think we could win it because we've been there or thereabouts before. I think we have it's about consistency. It's the same for everybody. It's about kind of playing at our level, week in, week out, and not wanting to sound too much like a pundit, but it's kind of what we've got to do. We've got to be strong enough. Say that again.
One game at a time. Taking one
game at a time, one half at a time. But because we've been also, diametrically different from one half of football to the second half of football. But when we play to our strengths and when everybody's on song, there aren't too much better than us in the league at the moment. And no one at the moment is dominating. No one seems, once Liverpool lost Van Dijk, all of a sudden there is a possibility. There's no one's really. I don't fear. Strangely, the only team I slightly fear in the division at the moment is Leeds. I don't know why, but I just think they have the ability. They're going to lose a lot of games, but they're going to smack a lot of people this season. They're gonna win by 3-4 goals to a number of teams this season, just because of the way they play. And they're literally the only team where I'm a little bit worried about.
Strangely. Growing up, who was your man? Who Glenn Hoddle? Who was your hero? If there was one.
I'm not so sure that I'm a kind of hero. I had a typical for my generation, really, of a kind of football fans. For a long time, I was a fan of football rather than a fan of a team.
Yeah,
it was the nature of being, a black kid into football growing up in the 70s and 80s. It was difficult going to the grounds, so you didn't have that kind of affinity. It wasn't until I started dating my missus and hanging out with her brothers so that I could date my missus that Spurs became my team when I was 18, 19, something like that. And but I've kind of been there ever since. I have to say, there are a couple of players who are just it for me, and that is Hoddle and Ledley King. I just think that they just stand somewhere else for me because they were just. I just think they were both as good as it gets. The player that I saw regularly live that really excited me was Gazza. I'm a Gazza fan. I just think he's such an unlikely football genius, but he was a football genius, and he was a showman, and he played the game like players that I like play the game, which is that if it was in the middle of the road or in his local park or at White Hart Lane, he's playing the game in exactly the same way, in the way that Scholes would play the game or Ian Wright, God forgive me, would play the game. It was it's just guys who it's just about playing. And I loved watching Gazza. I loved the way that he would entertain the crowd. Not even before the game would start, he'd be pissing about trying to hit the referee with the ball and gene everybody up. And I love the way he played football, and he gave us a couple of great days, did Gazza. And I miss him. I think football misses him.
Absolutely. We will talk about Save Me and acting.
We don't have to. We could speak about Spurs all day.
You know what? I bet you're fed up to it. Chris Waddle told me a funny one the other day. He said him and Gazza were warming up for England at Wembley, and the band was, the old sort of brass band they used to have on the pitch kind of thing. Don't know what international was. And he started pinging the ball over the band. Have you heard this? And Gazza shanked it. And it's you shouldn't laugh, but it hit the trombonist straight. It was like his trombone. And he said, we ran off like little kids. We ran off. And he said the worst thing was, he said when we got changed to come out, we walked past the first aid kit, and there was this poor fella with like blood everywhere, lying there with his trombone horse. I just thought that
But
was
he
good.
used to do that. He used to do that with most games. He literally would stand, get as far away from the referee as he possibly could, wait until his back was turned, and just ping the ball to hit him on the head. And invariably, it would hit him on the head. And there were a number of us boys who used to get to the ground early just so we could watch Gazza warm up and ping the ball to hit the ref on the head. I mean, yeah, it was. You know, going to games and the kind of camaraderie and the ability to, you know, stand amongst 36,000 people at the old White Hart Lane and just shout shit at the sky have been some of my favourite days ever, really. And it was, and it's the weird kind of extravagance that I have, that I'm based in America. I'm home out. If I'm not working, I'm probably home for Christmas and sometime during the summer. And but I still retain my season ticket, and I still shell out for it every year, even though unless I'm working in town, which was one of the kind of huge benefits when we were shooting Save Me, is I got to go to lots more games. But not, you know, in a bad year, it's a Boxing Day game and a New Year game. And the rest of the time, you know, my brother-in-law avails himself of my season ticket.
On you. Brilliant. Listen, what else was I going to ask you? Oh, I was looking in TK Maxx before we came. TK Maxx. Do you know they're selling yellow puffer jackets? And that's TK Maxx for 60 quid.
Really?
You've ruined the market. Hang on, I've done some. Where else? I wrote them down. North Face yellow puffer jacket, 150 quid.
I should get a piece of that, shouldn't I?
That's it. You've gone wrong.
I should get a little bit of that. Although my sister-in-law just sent me a WhatsApp photograph of a shop front where they had 3 yellow puffers on sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did. In the window, it just had them on sale. So, you know, if you want a yellow puffer,
a picture of you with a thumbs up kind of thing.
Yeah, going courtesy of. If you want a yellow puffer, just let me know, and I'll point you in the right direction. I'll just give you a bit of a clue. It's somewhere in Catford, but well, that's about it.
Who came up with the yellow puffer?
We were having a discussion, myself and the director of the first season, Nick Murphy, and I had said that I think we should get that Nelly needed a kind of signature jacket, and you know, whether it's whether it's a leather jacket, whether it's a jean jacket, whatever. And we went around and around the houses, and Nick was at home one evening, and his wife came up to him and went, "What about this?" and showed him a photo of a yellow puffer, and that was about it. They went out and they got a yellow puffer. Examples of a yellow puffer, and I think an orange one and a green one, or it might have been a red one, and we put the yellow on, and when it's got to be the yellow, and that was it, really. It was a no-brainer.
It's signature. I've got to say, because it's gone out on Peacock. It's going out on Peacock last night. Well, no, November the 5th. Yeah, it was bonfire night last
yesterday.
night. Time in the States. So tell us a bit about that, because I've been.
Peacock have got the second season, so it starts.
Yeah,
they were streaming. Yeah, they were streaming the first one from when they got it, I think in July of this year. So they've been streaming Save Me, and Save Me 2 premiered on Peacock, which is NBC's streaming service, on their premium service, and it started yesterday. So I'm really chuffed about that, because people have been hearing about Save Me back in the UK, and it seemed like everywhere in the world apart from America, and now they get a chance to see both seasons.
Have you been surprised by the success, or do you sit there writing and think, I'm on a winner here? I've got a good, they're going to love this.
Well, obviously not. No, the first one, is like it's a bit like you're going to the moon. You've got, you know, this is the first television series I've written, so everything is new. Everything is you have no prior experience of. So the response to it was kind of overwhelming at times, really. I mean, of course you have hopes that, you know, people will like it because you're spending all of that time and energy putting it together, and you're trying to put out the best thing that you feel you can do, and for it to get the recognition that Save Me got, it was fantastic. I'm not going to lie, I was chuffed as hell. You know, then right in the second one, I think I had the benefit to a certain extent of the distance from London and from home, and that I could be out here in America, and in between stabbing zombies in the head, I could write my Southeast London fable. And second time around was harder, partly because you know how big the mountain is that you're having to climb. But in a weird way, I'm just ever so slightly prouder of the work we did second time around than first time around, because you know, the second album is usually the one where people expect a dip, and I think we managed to sustain our story and sustain our show, and so I'm really happy with that, and the response that people gave to Save Me 2 seemed to back that up. So yeah, again, chuffed as hell.
When's the third album, and do people go, come on, what have you got next? Come on, we want another one.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and isolation and the lockdown should have kind of churned it out, but it's been an odd one to navigate, and I think there is an idea for me for the third one, and there's a lot of questions about what else there is to write. So at the moment, I'm navigating a few things, but there's the possibility of a third one, but it's not nailed on yet.
It's great. Hey, listen, it's great while you're hot. Keep going on acting and writing.
I'm going to try.
I just wonder, are you precious about your words when they're delivered?
Am I precious about the words?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, actually. I spend a lot of time kind of constructing the way that my characters speak. It's not, because it is colloquial. It is true to the neighborhood where my story is set, but also I'm taking some kind of poetic license, and that license is specific, and it's really with the actors, it's almost the one rule that I have, which is, try to say the lines as written, and if they're not working, then we'll change them, but don't change them before you've tried it, because there is sense in what sounds like nonsense, and it is about trying to be specific to time and place. And you go back to Liverpool, all of a sudden your speech pattern slightly changes as you slip back into the code of your neighborhood, and it's about establishing that code of our neighborhood that I think is really important. And that's why I do ask the actors as much as possible to stick to the lines, not least because I spent a really long time coming up with them.
Yeah, you read them.
Yeah. So I love the collaborative process, and I love the actors that we work with and the crew and that we've got. But and I'm absolutely always open to change. But I think we should get there having tried to say the line. Yeah.
The whole series is absolutely fantastic. But do you feel Nelly Rowe is up there? I'm not saying. I was trying to think. He's an iconic character, isn't he? He has become an iconic character, which happens very, very rarely in any film, any series, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, he really is. I'm not saying Del Boy. Del Boy's still not Del Boy.
No one touches Del Boy.
Yeah, he's iconic, isn't he?
Well, people have said that. I can't really kind of comment on that one. I mean, I think that he seems to have struck a chord, and if he does have any comparison to
struck a chord. That's a great.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
sums it up.
I think if he does have any comparison to Del Boy or Fletcher or Morse or any of those characters that have, seems to have done that, I think it's because despite the fact that they may never have been to Deptford, they never have been to a housing estate pub in the darkest corners of New Cross. But people, the thing I've heard over and over again from people who've been watching the show is that they know someone like Nelly. And I think that has been a part of the kind of recognition and how people he has appealed to people, is the sense that it may not be exactly the same, but people know someone like Nelly who's made the choices in his life like he's made and operates by the seat of his pants in a way that Nelly does.
How close do you all get on set? I mean, you got your mate Stephen Graham comes down. I mean, it must be very intense when you're there. It must be very sad when you all say goodbye.
It is. I mean, particularly for me, because I'm the one who jumps on a plane and flies to another country. I think before lockdown, the rest of the guys were meeting up quite regularly, and I was often jealous. We are a tight group. There were friendships that existed before this. I was mates with Stevie Graham, Sue Lynch, and Jason Fleming. And Sue and Saran were friends from before, and so there's lots of kind of people who knew everybody, but everybody's got really tight. I mean, we set up a WhatsApp group and we speak to each other depending on what's going on, sometimes daily, but certainly weekly. We are in contact. Anything that's happening with any one of us, we're all there sharing in it. If someone's got a play coming on, or someone sees something in the paper or online, that it's funny or relevant, we all kind of share in it. So we're all still very much connected and figuring out what we're going to do with each other next.
I watched Penny, I watched Scars, and I hear you've been cooking as well during lockdown. Is that right?
I am the family cook, so that is my my piece. That is my kind of where I can find my calm and chill out, is in the kitchen, and I do enjoy it. And in lockdown, I don't know. You have to ask the family whether or not my cooking's got any better, but it has certainly got a little bit more adventurous.
Brilliant, very good. Okay, fears going on. Is there anything? I mean, when I've been speaking to a number of people, they say COVID, obviously the pandemic has slowed things down. What's on your horizon? Is there anything you can let us into?
Well, we're back filming Fear and trying to fathom out how we do that in a time of COVID and keep everybody safe. So there are strict protocols that we follow. I get tested 3 times a week, and which is, I've suddenly become very conscious of my nasal passages, which is not something I thought I was ever going to have to say.
Are they doing sticking up your nose one?
Yeah, 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. And we got a zonal system that keeps us as little as possible exposed once we've got our masks off, and we're having to do the acting bits. But it's made it takes us longer to shoot an episode now. It takes us longer to do everything, to arrive on set, to set up, to do everything. But we're getting through it. We've shot, I think, since we came back, we are coming to the end of a second episode that we've shot. So we're doing all right, and we'll see how that goes. At the moment, touch wood, everybody's safe and healthy.
Good.
So we're getting through it, and we're I think that our industry was heavily hit by COVID. I mean, it literally shut down completely filming. So the need to get back, not, I think everybody, when they think about our industry, the first focus goes to the people who are front of camera and top of the line. But there's a whole bunch of people who rely on the industry and are part of it that don't have the luxury that some of us front of camera people have, and that they need the work, and we need to get back to work, and that's what we're kind of trying to do. And AMC, who are the people who make Fear and The Walking Dead, have really stepped up and put their money where their mouth is by way of keeping everybody safe and ushering us back into filming.
I should have asked you this earlier. What makes you so good? What separates
football?
At acting? What is it? I mean, we talked about Gaza. There's parallels. Not so much why is Lionel Messi so much better than 1,000 million other footballers. What is it with you? Do you ever analyze it? Do people ever say you're good?
I don't really. I mean, I'm a bit like, I think. What
can you do that others can't?
I don't know. I mean, it's a weird one, really. I think I'm a bit like, I think it was Paul Bettany who said that acting is a bit like sex. It's a huge amount of fun, but you don't really want to talk about it. And it's a bit like that. You don't really want to talk about how you get it done. And I don't know. I just try and find. I mean, I can tell you about it better, not talking about me, but talking about other actors or actresses that I admire, and the actors and actresses that I admire, like Regina King or Mark Rylance. They just have the ability to make every single moment truthful, to play, as I say it, play every single note, and not in a overly showy way, just trying to find the truth. There is people. A familiar thing that people say about actors is, actors are good liars. And I fundamentally disagree with that. I don't believe that what we're trying to do is kid people on or cheat or lie. We're trying to find the truth. And that's what I try and do in my acting. And if people like it, that's what I think they like about me, is that I try and be truthful to the situation my characters find themselves in.
Do you know what? I don't think there's ever been a really good football documentary, a football film, or a football series. I mean, you had Green Street and all this kind of stuff. I just, it's when Saturday comes and all. Has there ever been a good one? Is the one?
Well, there certainly hasn't been a great one. I mean, it doesn't lend itself at the moment. It doesn't lend itself to the although Footballers' Wives was amazing.
But the only Footballers' Wives was all my friends used to go, all the footballers used to zap it off onto the other side. And the wives would go, get it back on. And they seriously used to hate it.
Yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't want the secrets to be out.
Were you doing that? Honestly, they did.
Yeah. I mean, I think that technology has got us to a point now where there is the potential for a good football film. And that's because with what they can digitally do to people's faces, we can put any actor's face on the body of someone who can actually play the game. So we can get into the game, and there's not short shift now on what we can, how we can film the actual game, so the game can be part of the story. Because I think that's been the main failing of almost every single football film, is that the football wasn't up to standard. The football was a bit ropey. And I think that if you could afford to do it, the technology's out there now, whereby the actual, in the way that the boxing in Raging Bull was part of the story, or and the way that you could tell the story in there, I think there is the potential for a good football film, if only someone would write it.
Last one for you. You say after the football you spend time with the family. If you're having a night, what's a night out for you? Do you have a night out? But COVID aside, what would be, what do you do? Do you go down the pub? Did you go for a meal? What do you do?
Oh, it's definitely me. If I'm not cooking, and because I like cooking for people as well, I like having people come round and spend a lovely lazy Sunday kind of
Brilliant.
either on the barbecue or a roast with friends and family around me. And a nice bottle of red wine. That's about as good as it gets for me.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
Being here in Austin before the lockdown, and it was the same when we were in Atlanta. They're both really good food and music cities. They're on the kind of, if you're doing the rounds of America, everybody plays in Atlanta, everybody plays in Austin. So, going out, having a good meal, a decent cocktail, a little sip of wine, and then going to see a good band, that would be a good night out with the missus. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Do you know what?
What?
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's been lovely talking to you. You take care.
You too, matey. Enjoy the rainy.
Thanks for that, Len. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, appreciate that.
It's gonna be up in the 20s out here, but don't let that bother you.
No, I won't. Take care, my friend. Lovely talking to you.
Have a good one.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.